And second down 9. Darnold getting messy, going deep, and he's got Jefferson. He's got Jefferson. It's a foot race downfield with Brown. Shifting gears. Getting a block. That's 6. 97 yards. Holy smokes.
What's going on? Welcome to Fight for the Title. Week 2 of the 2024 NFL season is in the books. That means this week's takeaways are in order. The first thing we have to talk about was from Thursday Night Football. Not because of the game itself, but because Tua Tagovailoa. During the game, he suffered another devastating concussion. This is one in a line of many bad ones that have plagued him over his career so far. Tua once again went into what they are calling the fencing position on the broadcast. This is a reflex that happens immediately after a concussion where your body goes into an involuntary pose. And like I said, this is not the first time it's happened to him. Tua also suffered a similar concussion on Thursday Night Football in Week 4 of the 2022 season against the Cincinnati Bengals. On that broadcast, they also said he went into the fencing position. You could see his body and hands lock up. Just multiple days prior to that game, the Dolphins had played the Buffalo Bills again. In the second quarter, he had been pushed to the ground and hit his head. He was clearly disoriented after the play and even stumbled, having to catch himself and be held up by teammates. It is absolutely absurd that he was cleared to play just 4 days later against the Bengals. All injuries are dangerous, no doubt about that. However, an injury to the brain, let alone multiple as severe as he suffered, seems a little alarming, especially with all of the information we now have and are being provided about CTE these days. Tua has a big decision to make when it comes to playing football again. He's going to meet with doctors and family to decide the best path forward for his safety and his health. It's wild to even think about this in such a young career. Myself and everyone else is hoping for the best. As a matter of fact, just before recording this, it was said that Tua stated he will be returning to football. Week 1, the New Orleans Saints played a dumpster fire known as the Carolina Panthers, so I took it with a grain of salt. This week they played the Dallas Cowboys, and oh boy, were they impressive. Say what you want about the postseason Cowboys and the choke artists that they are, but in the regular season, they tend to play some pretty good football. With that said, they were absolutely manhandled by the Saints this week. Derek Carr and Alvin Kamara imposed their will on that Cowboys defense. It's not the best defense in the league by any means. The way the Saints were rolling, though, made it look like they were a JV squad. The Saints defense has been playing plenty good enough to keep them in games, even if their offense wasn't scoring 40-plus points a game. The Derek Carr to Rashid Shaheed combo is looking pretty nasty on the field. They combined for 4 receptions, 96 yards, and a deep touchdown. Derek Carr had over a 68% completion percentage and threw for 243 yards and 2 passing touchdowns. Like I said, I know it's early, but the Saints might be the dark horse team that people weren't expecting before the season started. I can't help myself, I have to come in every week with at least one controversial takeaway. I think that's this one. Caleb Williams is not a star player. Hear me out. He is 2 games into his career, so a lot can change, but as of right now, he is not elite. He is not great, and he is most definitely not a star. Bears fans are always so quick to crown the quarterback the savior of the franchise. Just look at what they were saying about Justin Fields before he was shipped away. Now look how that turned out. But they were convinced he was the chosen one. I can't blame it all on the fans though. Williams had so much hype by the media and everyone surrounding him to be great immediately when he got into the NFL. Well, he's not. This week against the Houston Texans, in his first primetime game, he was okay at best. He was looking to run around outside of the pocket and make the big play, and even that didn't work out well. He was a game manager at best. There were 5 yards here and 5 yards there. Caleb was also careless with the football at times, and it cost his team as a result. It doesn't help when you have someone like Chris Collinsworth sitting in the booth singing Caleb Williams' praises all night long. I don't think I was even watching the same game as Collinsworth. He was acting like Williams was the next coming of Patrick Mahomes, I've never been a huge fan of Chris Collinsworth, but it was out of hand Sunday night. The glazing went absolutely crazy. And if you were wondering, yes, glazing is in fact now a scientific term for this. His coaching staff didn't help much either when it came to managing the game. There were 2 challenges made by the Bears coach that never should have been challenged. They may have just been the most obvious not challenged plays I've ever seen that the red flag has gone flying for. It's good and all that they're keeping the coaching staff around for more than a year for infrastructure purposes in the organization. The problem is it's likely the wrong staff to build around. After seeing the Panthers lose 26-3 to the LA Chargers this weekend, I decided to start a new segment called the Carolina Panthers 0-17 Watch. I have seen enough after 2 weeks. I believe they may truly be the worst team since the 0-16 Browns. To be completely honest, I think they're worse than that team was. Terrible ownership, terrible coaching, terrible players. There really is no highlight to this team. They have been outscored 73-13, and we're only half a month into the season. 2 games is all it took for them to have a negative 60 point differential. My eyes have rarely seen such a pathetic sight, yet here we are 2 weeks in a row. We will continue to watch this until the Panthers are no longer an endangered species with the potential to go 0-17. As a matter of fact, after making this, I found out they're benching Bryce Young for Andy Dalton. Can't say that's a very good look. It may have needed to happen, but the number 1 overall pick from a year ago now being benched, I think the damage to his development has already been done. I have a couple bonus takeaways this week. The first one is that the sidelines is a dangerous place to be. One of the sideline chain gang members took a fall and got injured during Sunday night's game. When there was a play coming his way, he stepped back and took a fall over the 20-yard line marker. The Bears training staff quickly went over to assist him, but that sideline can get violent with so much going on between players running out and being pushed out all of the time. It looked like that man was going to be fine though, which is good. My second bonus takeaway is Tony Romo's commentating. Like almost everyone else, I enjoyed his commentating when he started his career in the booth. Nowadays, it makes my ears bleed to listen to him. His voice is like nails on a chalkboard, along with his bias showing in big games and really almost every game. And the amount of times he says Jim Nantz's name in a single game is crazy. We really do need a Jim counter. If I had $1 for every time Tony Romo said that name, I'd be as rich as he is. Maybe that's another hot take, but I will die on this hill. He is no good anymore. Anyways, that's it for this week's takeaways. Let me know what your takes are and what you think in the comments below. I read every single one. Subscribe for more NFL news and content. I will see you next time.
Everything was covered. It really was. And he has to get around the hand. He wanted to throw. That looked a little Mahomey on that one, too. And